You want to scale a six-figure staging business but feel overwhelmed about what you should be focusing on. Perhaps you're hearing so much different advice from all these different influencers and business coaches online and thinking, right, if I want to scale to six figures as fast as possible, what should I do? Well, in today's video, I want to share with you what the six-figure focuses should be versus seven figures so that you know what to focus on today and what are tomorrow's problems. With that, let's dive in. So reaching six figures is a huge milestone in your business, and it's so exciting to be on that journey. But it also can feel like a little bit of an uphill struggle because you're brand new to this industry and the business itself. Many people say that making your first million is the hardest, and I can attest to that because once you've done it once, you then have broke through that mental barrier that this is possible for you. And I would say it's very similar with your first 100,000 in your business. We need to break through that mental barrier that we can do this and it can happen. The great news is that this can happen fast if you focus on the right parts of the business. What I see often is people putting 5-year problems in their way today. Should I manufacture furniture? Should I hire a team? Those are not things that we need to be worrying about in the first six figures of our business. So let's focus on the right things and help you scale fast. Now, the first thing to focus on is who should be in your power team. Now, you can build a six-figure business as a solopreneur. I want to make that super clear. And I am a great advocate for having team members because I believe that they can accelerate your journey and get your business further than ever before. However, on the lead up to six figures, it's an unnecessary expense and you're still very much in the learning phase of your business. Team can appear sexy and it can seem something that's fun to be in it with other people, but these do not need to be employed employees. You can work with a whole bunch of contractors to form your power team. So let's talk about who should be on that power team. The very first person, and before you've even made your first dollar, the very first person that you should find on your power team is a man in a van or a removal company. So someone that can transport the furniture, lift it, and put it in place in the properties. Now guys, I always speak from experience and what has worked and what hasn't worked for me. And I've always had a man in van, but sometimes I've tried to cut corners and do it myself on certain occasions. It's always ended in disaster. I've wasted so much time. I've hurt myself. So I do recommend outsourcing this to the professionals. It's not going to be as expensive as you might think if you were to move house, because remember, we're furnishing properties. The furniture tends to be light and easier to move, and so this is like a dream partnership for most removal companies. Now, the second person, once you've got a few stages under your belt that you might consider looking for, would be like an assistant stager. This is someone who can essentially replace you on a stage. Now, a stager is someone who goes in and does the niceties in the property and does all of the styling. They'll be putting the cushions out, hanging up the artwork, the mirrors, placing the rugs, doing all of the styling. Now, I do suggest if you bring this person on that they train with you, but ultimately the goal is to have them stage the properties without you. This then enables you to have more time to work on the business and not in it. And then the third person you might consider finding as a contractor for your business is a virtual assistant. Now, I do not recommend handing any sales or quoting to a virtual assistant anytime soon. This virtual assistant would really be for administrative tasks that are a waste of your time and don't require your eye. So there are the 3 people on your power team. Now let's talk about your marketing focuses. So the key word to six figures is the word local. We want to help you build your business and your brand locally. Now, you can build a six-figure business with just a local brand in a small area. Now, I do recommend when you're launching your staging business, you operate up to 2 hours. However, you can also get very local, and I guess when I say local, I'm talking about up to like a 2-hour radius. It's important that in this six-figure phase that we are really solidifying strong relationships with other people in our marketplace, real estate agents, photographers, mortgage brokers, many of the people that we could partner with. I've done a whole video on that, which I'll link. And we're building that local brand and name that becomes known as the go-to company in the area. Now, in order to build that local brand and create hype around it, one thing that's always a non-negotiable for my clients is having a daily social media post. How can you expect anyone to find you if you're not findable? If you're not out there, if you're not putting yourself out there daily, how can you expect someone to stumble upon your brand? So having that daily ritual of putting something online where people are able to see you and connecting with those local people in the community is going to be key to building that presence, as I'd say omnipresence, in your area. Now, with that, you might think, well, what do I post? The best thing to be posting at this part of your journey is documentation. Documenting what you're doing every single day, documenting the success, the properties you're quoting for, the partnerships you're making. If I could turn back the clock, I would document so much more of the start of my journey and throughout my journey, because today's content is tomorrow's gold. And when your company is generating 6, 7 figures, this is the content that people love to look back on because they can see where your business was from, they can see your story, and they can see the growth. And as humans, we want to be associated with those who are successful and those who are growing. And finally, with your marketing, I would focus on the size of your business. I would capitalize on the fact that you're a grassroots startup, you've just launched, perhaps you're doing this with a family member or a friend. Capitalize on the size of your business. The reason that I say this is that I'm seeing a huge shift in the market where people want to work with smaller local companies rather than larger companies who operate nationwide. The reason for this is we are getting savvier as buyers and people feel like they're going to get a more personalized, preferential service from someone who's local and can really dedicate time and build trust with them. The fact that you are a small company is a positive and something you should certainly capitalize on in your marketing message. So to summarize, on the way to the goal of 6 figures, we are keeping our team lean. We aren't bringing on team members. We're actually leveraging other contacts such as our man and van, VA, and potential other stager. And our marketing has to be consistent, it has to have a local theme, it has to really drive home who we are and document what we're currently up to. If you build a profile as a local go-to expert, this is really what opens you up to then becoming a national expert who is in demand and can charge a premium price.